Welcome, everybody. Let's go Niners. My name is Jason Aponte. What's up, 49er fans? The 49ers roll all over the Carolina Panthers, the abysmal Carolina Panthers. Obviously, that's not really the story. It's more about the injuries. But shout out to everybody tapping in. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for when we go live. Yeah, any game that, the 49ers put away an inferior opponent, you kind of chalk up into the win. But now Nick Bosa injured, Emmanuel Moseley injured, compounded with the fact that Javon Kinlaw's injured, Eric Armstead's injured. It's kind of deflating. It is a little bit, but at the same time, the team's got to move forward. Nobody in this league is going to feel bad for you in any way. And right now the Los Angeles Rams are losing and going to lose to the Dallas Cowboys. Shout out to me for calling that one. Didn't took anybody to see that one coming. And the Arizona Cardinals are struggling as well too. So the 49ers will remain in first place. But yeah, Jimmy Ward and Robbie Gould injured. Like, this is less about the result. I mean, at the point, who actually believed the Carolina Panthers were going to be able to move the ball? I didn't. I don't know anybody. Again, you lose games to inferior opponents sometimes, but that comes down to the way that they can attack you. There was nothing that this team could do to attack the 49ers, and that's it. Like, they have nobody down the field. Baker Mayfield is awful. And the defense was actually okay. They just were on the field too much because they couldn't sustain any sort of drives. But give credit to Jimmy Garoppolo, man. I thought he played very well. It's so funny how you can literally say something objective like Jimmy Garoppolo played well, and it sends people into an absolute tizzy, which is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, it's like you have pushed yourself so far gone that you can't even say Jimmy Garoppolo played a pretty good game today. Jimmy Garoppolo was actually good today. It's just mind-boggling, man. Like, it really just boils down to people right now having an identity crisis and now shifting their identity to just straight up anything Jimmy does, hating it, even if he does something well, which leads to a win. Really funny to me how people are operating at this point. So, look, Carolina Panthers, obviously they were going to pose no threat to the San Francisco 49ers. If the 49ers were going to lose this game, it's because they largely did it to themselves. But the injuries are the part that I guess we have to talk about more. I mean, I wasn't really wanting to rush Jimmy Ward back out there because I didn't feel he was needed in this game, right? You kind of slow him back in. You kind of ease him back in slowly. You get him ready for the Chiefs game, which was way more important, right? I mean, you look at the Carolina Panthers. They're not good. They're not good ever. And I don't understand why people are like, well, this is a trap game. It can't be a trap game if the team across from you is terrible, like they were. So you don't need Jimmy Ward, right? So you rush him back, but it's not really rushing him back when you think about it like this. His hand, it's not his hamstring. It's not his hamstring. Like, I would be more concerned with this injury if it was the hamstring flaring back up, but it's his hand. Now we have to figure out what it is. We're going to find out what's going on with Nick Bosa's groin. I feel like I just contradicted myself when I was just talking right there about Jimmy Ward being rushed back. But Robbie Gould injured, Nick Bosa, Jimmy Ward, Emmanuel Moseley. The Emmanuel Moseley one I feel the most deflated about. Obviously, the Nick Bosa one is the one that's going to be, hard to digest. But if he can take a game off and be ready for the Chiefs, that's fine. Emmanuel Moseley one is really tough. And again, this is where Jason Verrett becomes so valuable. Just becomes valuable at this point. It's literally now you can slide Jason Verrett in. And this is what, Andrew and I talked with Kyle Metzen about is the insane depth here. And now you can go to that. So Andrew said, I'm happy the 49ers won because you said if they lost, you would yell a lot and the channel would get shut down. I love this channel. Shout out to you, Andrew. But I also said no fucking chance the Carolina Panthers were going to pose any sort of threat to the San Francisco 49ers. Baker Mayfield stinks, and so do the Carolina Panthers. Like, I don't understand the people that were hesitant about this game. Sure, any given Sunday, anything can happen. The Carolina Panthers stink. They are terrible, man. Like, and look at this. 6 sacks, and Nick Bosa largely didn't play in this game, right? Injured. So that's why it's like, I understand, being cautious, being humble, but everybody's like, oh, well, you can't overlook them. I can do what I want. I can overlook them. I'm not playing. The 49ers will not overlook them. So again, objectively looking at it, you want to remain humble. That's cool. I understand that part. But when you know something is right there in front of you, the Carolina Panthers stink. They had no chance in this game. None. I mean, it was close for a little while because the offense was, finding its way. Obviously, a blocked field goal, but what chance did the Panthers have in this game other than the 49ers completely coming out and falling flat on their face? Like, I really don't understand what the hesitance was to just say, yes, the 49ers are going to destroy the Carolina Panthers, and they did. They did. It's just funny to me about the whole, like, you gotta be humble. I don't have to do a damn thing. I don't have to be humble. I am not playing. If I know that team across from the San Francisco 49ers is inferior, I'm gonna call it out. Same way I'm gonna call it out for Atlanta next week, even though they play pretty well down the stretch. Forget who was the one that was in the comments that was telling me that they're not as bad. But I'll tell you this. If Marcus Mariota plays 3/4 as bad as he did in this game against the Bucs, against the 49ers, they're cooked too. So, hey, man, you want to talk about something? Tevin Coleman loves playing the Carolina Panthers. Unfortunately, guys, this is what I have to say. Jordan Mason dream is officially dead. Sorry. Officially dead. I mean, that's it. Unfortunately, the trust. Right? It's a circle. It's a circle, right? And Tevin Coleman's in the circle. And it's hard for Kyle to break that circle for anybody who's seen Meet the Parents. But Tevin Coleman played very well today. I mean, he looked explosive. Like, he looked like that guy that scored 4 touchdowns against the Carolina Panthers in 2019. But Jordan Mason is not going to see the field, man. I mean, Jeff Wilson, 4 straight games with 100 yards. The running game largely looked very good today. Very good. And yes, Jason, we are first again. And we put some distance because the Rams lost and the Cardinals lost and Seattle lost. And I told you guys, there's no shot that the Rams are going to beat Dallas. No shot. Their offensive line is bad. The one touchdown they scored in this game, if you watched that game while the other one was on, was Cooper Kupp being guarded by Trevon Diggs in the slot. I'm not even going to ding Trevon Diggs for this, but Cooper Kupp made a one-handed catch and took it all the way to the crib. That's it. They have no offense. The Rams are in deep trouble. The Rams are in deep, deep trouble. Unless something miraculously happens where they find a deep threat. They did hit one shot to Tutu Atwell down the field. But that offense is cooked. Forget the Rams. Who cares? They just lost to Cooper Rush in the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, Mr. Faithful 49er. I'll be in Atlanta next week. I will be there as well. Shout out to everybody that's going to be out there. If you see me at a 49ers party, walk up. Let's say what's up. Let's have a drink. But yeah, Tevin Coleman and Jeff Wilson, they look great today. So, yeah, unfortunately, that tables the Jordan Mason discussion until there's an injury. So, Agent 49, our offensive line looked a little shaky. Yeah, at points. Jalen Moore struggled, but that's what happens when you get down to your third string. I think Trent Williams is on his way. I mean, I heard something about no time. So if they can just get by one more week and get him for the Chiefs game, I think everything will be fine. But, yeah, Jalen Moore was a little bit sketchy today as well, too. I thought I saw Brunskill at the end of the game take his spot. I thought I saw him on the field on the second Tevin Coleman touchdown. If anybody can confirm, that would be great. Thank you for the donation, Brian. Jimmy Ball, don't want to hear anything else. Wilson and Coleman, plenty of bursts. Yeah, I mean, look, guys. I don't want to discuss Jimmy Garoppolo because we've discussed him ad nauseum. But if you can't look yourself in the mirror and say that Jimmy Garoppolo played well today, you've got a huge problem. You have a huge problem. You need to look yourself in the mirror, sit yourself down, and figure out what your agenda is, man. When he plays poorly, I'm going to call it out. When he plays well, I'm going to call it out. He's played well. He played well today. I don't know what more you need. Seriously, what do you want more from this guy? And again, the 49ers are probably going to lose another game. We'll have plenty of time to commiserate on those losses. But now there's a win, and yet there's still people that can't even just give the slightest bit of credit to Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, the guy played fine. I even said he played very well, and I got the snarkiest remarks. Well, dropped interception, You know how many quarterbacks have dropped interceptions? Why is it always this, dropped interception on Jimmy Garoppolo? It should have been an interception. There's plenty of guys that have dropped interceptions. I'm sure we'll turn on this Bengals Ravens game tonight. Lamar's going to have a ball that goes right into a defender's hand and gets dropped. Joe Burrow's going to have the same thing, right? Like, it's everybody. So, like, just give the man props. Why can't you just say he played well? Why can't you just say he operated the offense very well? I don't get that part. Google account, no updates on Moseley, Bosa, anything like that. Kyle's about the podium. I'm sure everybody's going to run to that to go listen, to hear that. Again, this game feels like the result was automatically done. We knew, but now the game has a different feel because of all these injuries as well, too. So, yeah, man, about 10 minutes in. Shout out to everybody in here. Almost got 250 people in here. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for when we go live. 49ers absolutely dismantle the Carolina Panthers, and they put up points. Emmanuel Moseley had a pick 6. That means my stat of whenever the defense scores a touchdown, you lose is still intact, and that's how we're gonna keep it. So, yeah, can we talk about this BNA? I had someone in my mentions saying that Baker Mayfield is better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and this is how you know the discussion has gone too far on Jimmy Garoppolo. Baker Mayfield is not better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and you guys know me. I'm not like the Jimmy Stan or whatever it is. But this is where the slander has gotten too far. Baker Mayfield stinks. He's absolutely terrible right now. And I don't know what, like, you want to blame Matt Rule? Fine. What was the excuse in Cleveland? It's always a new excuse for Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield stinks. Why can't we just say that? And how dare anybody come at me and say, well, Baker's better than Jimmy? In what world? In what season? In what league? The XFL? I mean, not here. Because Baker's on his way to the XFL. The guy's got a piss poor attitude, couldn't handle anything like that, you know, like the discussion. As soon as they brought up Deshaun Watson, he completely folded and went on every podcast and cried. At least Jimmy Garoppolo didn't say anything in public. He just kept it to himself. I'm sure it wasn't easy. So that's off the field demeanor. And then on the field, Baker looks like dog shit. I'm tired of everybody telling me that Baker Mayfield is better than Jimmy Garoppolo. I really do not understand why anybody would ever say anything like that. Matt, thank you for the donation. I never knew this was such a pro Jimmy show. Well, pulled off the mask. It was me the whole time. Michael Everett, thank you for the donation. Good day, Jason. It's a good night. We're top of the division. That's right. And not by tiebreakers. Not by tiebreakers. So, yeah, look. 49ers defense, I think without Nick Bosa, they still did a good job. You know, the Moseley thing is really where I get concerned because that Chiefs game, it's got to be all hands on deck with the coverage. You know, again, we're going to find out the severity of this injury. That's the part, like, it's like, yes, you want to be excited about this game. You do. And you should be. I mean, 49ers handled business against an inferior opponent. Again, like I said on the podcast on Friday, if this team is what we believe it to be, they will dismantle the team. And they did. And they did. That's exactly what they did. But now we have to worry about these injuries going forward. And it's going to be tough to see, because I don't worry as much about the Atlanta game, because who knows if Kyle Pitts is going to be ready for that game. Hamstring injuries tend to linger. Drake London seems to be their only real offensive weapon. You know, Algier played today. You know, like they don't really have a running game. Mariota largely stinks. Like, the 49ers should be in position, regardless of the roster, to just put that one away. So, yeah, I mean, it stinks, man. Like, again, Max, I think we're all saying the same thing. It's like, why can't we have nice things? Why can't we celebrate a blowout against this team without talking about injuries, man? Like, it just... You know, even, you know what, man, the Robbie Gold one is like, what's Joey Sly up to? Is Joey Sly out there, man? Hey, big head, it's us 49er fans. Can you come back and help? Because you see what happens, right? And you definitely don't want to get into a spot where you're like 4th and 9, 4th and 10, like whatever it is, going for it because of that. But it's a groin for Bosa. It's I guess a knee for Moseley, the left knee for Gold, and then a hand for Jimmy. I don't know what it is. So Flavor, thank you for the donation, buddy. Deepest roster in the league, and we're going to have to tap in many of them. Yeah, I don't want to talk about this right now, right? We were supposed to be deep for later on when the injuries pile up, not week 6, like when we're getting into. Oh, okay. He's playing for the Commanders. Damn it. All right. Well, we can't get Joey Sly back. Well, let's see. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there, right? I mean, Chase McLaughlin just got picked up by the Colts. I don't know why I know about kickers. Like, I should stop talking about that. But yeah, the Robbie Gold thing is something that I don't like, man, at all. I was thinking about Joey Sly too right after. Yeah, that was a natural fit, right? Like, because I thought he missed an extra point, but then he bangs it from 55, and it's like, hey, I'll take it. 1 for 3, like whatever from that far, cool. But yeah, it sucks that we have to, you know, stop talking about the offense, stop talking about this team, and start talking about the injuries. Feels like we're getting right back to that place that we were in 2020, unfortunately. But let's see the severity before we overreact. And yeah, look, see, Jimmy G's here. Good job, Jimmy. Way to go, man. You were cooking. Way to go. So yeah, I mean, I'd rather us be injured now than at the end of the year. That's a fair way to look at it. And hey, look at the chat. Post game, half full, optimistic. Look at you guys, man. I love it. I love it, man. The whole like being negative after a win, like that's something I'm not gonna tolerate at all. But yeah, look. Also, and we were robbed of a Jimmy Wheels touchdown. I did not like that at all. But yeah, you saw Debo shake it up a little bit. But again, going forward, now we have to figure out the severity of these injuries. I'm sure you guys are going to tap into what Kyle has to say. I'm probably going to unplug so I can write some stuff for Niners Nation. This game was a little bit more taxing than it should have been at this point. Will Verrett start next week? I don't know. So I don't know. But it's a nice insurance policy to have, Marcus. That's why you keep him around. Is E-Man hurt? Yes, he is, unfortunately. Left the game, didn't look pretty. I mean, he walked off for what it's worth, but yeah, and Sin hit the nail on the head. Everybody in the NFC lost. Who could have seen that coming? Arizona's not good. The Rams have big problems. Seattle. They let Taysom Hill dog walk them. But yeah, the Rams, that could have been seen from a mile away. The Dallas Cowboys have a very good defense and a very good front. They have no sort of offensive line. They have no deep threat. They have nothing going for them. Like I said, that one touchdown that they scored, I watched it. It was a Cooper Kupp slant that he caught one-handed and ran past everybody. Other than that, that's it. Juwan Jennings did really look good, man. Really look good. I'll give him that. I did hear the announcer say speedy Juwan Jennings, and that kind of made me pause a little bit because I said speedy. I don't know about that. But yeah, back to that roll on third down. Jimmy seems to hone in on him and look for him, on third down. And man, that one where he ran through CJ Henderson kind of effectively ended the game, But yeah, again, he doesn't need to have a large amount of catches. He just needs to be there on third down, and he just needs to be able to convert for Jimmy. So yeah, let's see. We're tape checking the standings in week 5. Hey, look, told you Arizona's frauds all season. I've told you they're not good. They aren't good. DeAndre Hopkins is coming back is not going to make this team any better. They're just not good. Cliff Kingsbury stinks, and Kyler's got to talk a little bit more about about his own play. But I'll watch that game later. And the Eagles are really good. Eagles are 5-0. Shout out to them, man. Look at them. 5-0 and the Giants 4-1. Just like how we drew it up. Just like how everybody drew it up. But yeah, it's I'll say this though. Gojira real quick. It is hard for everyone to keep up with 32 teams. It is hard. I will give them that. So I mean, I'll give him a little bit of leeway. Like, he's been a good broadcaster. That one just kind of just jumped out at me like, man, what? Like, even on that play, it didn't necessarily look speedy. He just had some moves. So yeah. I would ask who's throwing him the ball. I mean, they did try it one time, but it was a dead giveaway. Andy Gray got on the field one time, and they took a deep shot on first down. If you're going to use him only in that way, then it's a direct tell. So you can't necessarily just say, oh, throw him on the field and then throw it down the field. No, people are going to start expecting that. So yeah, I saw him on the field. I'm like, oh, there's number 6. They're going to try it. And that's exactly what they did. Let's see. Jason, did you see Baker say the F word after that pick? Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't think they moved the ball well. What I'll say is again, it's almost the same thing that happened in the Rams game where they moved the ball, but if they're not scoring touchdowns, it doesn't matter. And you'll take those 3 points, because if they hit 3 field goals, I don't care about yards. It's about points. I thought the defense did very well, especially considering they had a plan for Jimmy Ward, didn't come out. Nick Bosa got injured. They were fine. They were absolutely fine. They weren't completely dominating, but they were fine. I don't see. And then the run game, and at one run, there were some missed tackles there, especially on the back end. But it is what it is. You can't expect to hold the team down for that many points. But yeah, once you start to exert your dominance on the offensive end, and it changes the game script for Carolina, and Carolina has to go into largely pass. That's exactly what you want. So I think they did fine. I think they did fine in this game, and I think they did fine considering the injury to Nick Bosa, which kind of took the sails out of everything. And Javon Kinlaw and Eric Armstead. I think Omenihu was good again today. So was Ebukam. Both of those guys are really good. And yeah, the pick 6 was bound to happen just because Baker was trying to throw it to somebody. But yeah, I think, I think it's fine. I think the defense was fine. Shout out to everybody in here. 20 minutes. Good call and keeping CMC and PPR. Still lost, but oh well. Hey, Vader Joe, you didn't draft him so high to just drop him, man, or not play him. So 20 minutes in, almost 230 people in here. Shout out to everybody. Make sure you like this video, Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell for when we go live. A lot of content leading up to this week. And I'll see you guys in Atlanta, faithful. Anybody who's going to be out there for that game, man, come say what's up. You see me, you see my tall self walking around the game and anything like that. But yeah, a good win. But again, the large discussion that's going to come out of this game has to do with the injuries. And it just sucks, especially when you think about who it is. You don't want to see injuries to anybody. But when you compound the fact that Armstead, Kinlaw was already injured, Jimmy Ward coming back now hurting his hand, didn't have to do with his hamstring. That's just straight up bad luck. Nick Bosa, who knows? That's a groin. Who knows how that's going to, linger? That cost George Kittle 2 games, and I think he's still getting acclimated right now. It's good to see him getting involved early. But, yeah. Torn ACL for Emmanuel Moseley. Damn it. That really, really sucks, man. That young man was about to get paid. Oh, that one really, really, really sucks. Oh, my God. Yeah. No nice way to spend that one. Yeah. I mean, that's why when you see him walk off the field, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. You just hope that it means something because you can walk on a torn ACL. Oh, man, that's costly. Oh, my goodness, man. He was playing so well. He was about to get paid, unfortunately. I hate that for the young man. Goodness gracious. Man. Well, I mean, Jason Verrett is there. I don't want to see Ambry Thomas playing large extended snaps. I don't. But he may have to until Jason Verrett's completely up to speed. Oh man, that really took the air out of this one, man. That really did. That is really, really terrible, man. Just when I literally, maybe it's my fault. I don't know. Womack can't play outside. I don't think Vader Joe. I think that Lenore was showing some warts today, a little bit. DJ Moore was kind of picking on him a little bit. And they went back to Womack, but it's such a good thing to have Jason Verrett, man. Just depends on how long it takes for him to get ready or how they feel comfortable about him. But oh my goodness, I hate it for Emmanuel, man. He was playing so well, and he was on his way to a payday, man. So I mean, that's the season. Yeah, Womack came in for Lenore. Lenore was getting picked on a little bit in the game. And then Ambry came in and he gave up a catch to Terrace Marshall right off the bat. Yeah. Why do we have the injury bug every year? Why? I understand it's feared, but if that's the fear, they do on-field tests. When they do on-field tests, it usually comes back. If they feel like they're fearing it, it just gets confirmed with the X-ray. So I'm gonna jump the shark and say, yeah, I think it's an ACL injury. Mario, I don't know why, man. I don't know why with the injury bug, but thank God this offense. I mean, this roster is super deep. Takes the shine off of this defense a little bit more because Mooney's been so good, but Mosley's been so good across from him. And now Jason Verrett's going to have to step up as opposed to being a luxury. And, if he can return to form, that's great. But, we're going to have questions until he does. I think he can. I think this team has stuck with him because they believe it's a hell of an insurance policy again. But you hate that for Emmanuel Moseley, man. He was on his way to getting paid. It just sucks, man. I don't think he's been actually activated just yet. I think they activated Jimmy Ward. They haven't activated him because he didn't suit up for it. He wasn't on the inactive list. So, yeah. Man. Yeah. Well, that really, really, really took the energy out of this one. Almost 25 minutes in. Shout out to everybody in here, man. Hopefully it doesn't get you too down. The 49ers did dismantle the Carolina Panthers pretty thoroughly in this one. But injuries are going to be what is going to be discussed going forward, and how this team is going to be evaluated moving forward. So yeah, as Agent 49er says, 3-week window. Yeah, they have 4 weeks, I think, once he's off PUP or something like that to get him ready. So yeah, or 21 days or something like that. So yeah, good call. So we'll see. Did enjoy Bosa have a groin injury earlier in the season. Now Nick has one. I don't know. By the way, talking about the schedule down the line, the Chargers really had trouble today with the Cleveland Browns and Jacoby Brissett. so funny how things are changing. Like when you look at the schedule and you're looking at teams and you're like, oh, that's going to be a challenge. Maybe Keenan Allen to be back for that game. I think he should be. I mean, but it's just funny how things work out in this league. So yeah, shouldn't have been out there. Jason, I don't know, Brian, who you were talking about. Parsons also had a groin injury today. I did see that. Yeah. Man, you just gotta hope that Nick Bosa's injury is not that bad, and that Eric Armstead can come back. I think it was kind of a good sign for the fact that he didn't go on injury reserve, even though he seemed like a candidate. And you gotta hope that Javon Kinlaw can bounce back. This defensive line is going to need to be as deep as it was again if they are going to take a step back in the secondary with Emmanuel Moseley. Because look, I mean, Jason Barrett coming back, you want to see that. You remember how well he played, and if he's back at that level, then you might not miss a step. But it's hard for me to just automatically hitch my wagon and say, yeah, he's going to be dominant like that again. I expect some bumps and bruises. I actually don't even expect them to throw him right back out there. I think they're going to take their time as best they can. But yeah, if this secondary is going to take a step back, especially at the corners, then the defensive line is going to have to step up and continue to apply the pressure. So yeah, I mean, they're already down to Z's, Javon, Eric, now Moseley, Jimmy Ward, Bosa. It's just, oh my goodness, man. Goodness gracious, man. Stinks. Yeah, so 26 minutes in, I think we kind of covered everything. Shout out to everybody who tapped in. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for when we go live. Is what it is, guys. Injuries are a part of the game. Nobody in this league is going to feel bad for you. Just got to move forward, next man up. Got to plan around that. Got a game plan around that. You just hate it for the person that it happened to because you feel for him, especially when it's Emmanuel Moseley who was on his way to, getting paid. But just something the 49ers are going to have to deal with, like a lot of teams in the league are dealing with at this point, So, but I'll probably end it here, man. Shout out to you guys. Thank you guys so much for tapping in. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate you guys showing up. 49ers do dismantle the Carolina Panthers, but we got a lot to discuss in this week when it goes to, what this team will be doing going into Atlanta, unfortunately. So, for Jason, as always, let's go Niners. Welcome, everybody. Let's go Niners. My name is Jason Aponte.